There were nights when silence was louder than any sound. Nights when my thoughts painted storms I couldn't calm. I looked at the stars, and I saw stories hidden in the light. They called me mad. They didn't see the world the way I did. To me, pain was not a curse. It was color. It was blue when I missed my brother, yellow when hope flickered, refusing to die, and red when my heart screamed for something greater. Every painting was a conversation with my suffering. The canvas did not judge me. It let me speak in ways words could never hold. They saw brushstrokes, but I saw survival. Every stroke said, I am still here. I didn't paint to be remembered. I painted to feel alive. And though the world called me lost, it was in my loneliness that I found eternity. I often wondered why beauty and sorrow lived side by side. Why the same light that made the wheat fields glow also revealed the shadows in my mind. But I came to understand something. Pain shows us where the soul has depth. It teaches us to see the unseen. When you love the world deeply, you feel everything deeply. And if you do not express it, it burns you from within. So I painted to release it, to turn my storms into stars, to make the invisible visible. I did not need applause. I needed peace. And in every moment of creation, for a brief second, I found it. Maybe art is not about being understood. Maybe it's about being honest enough to leave a piece of your soul behind. And when someone looks at it years later, they see not perfection, but truth. I learned that beauty is born from brokenness, that pain, when transformed, becomes light, and that even the darkest night has its own color. Maybe the only way to truly see the light is to first walk through the dark. There were nights when silence felt like it could swallow me whole. Nights when the weight of loneliness pressed so hard against my chest, I thought I might vanish into it. But then I'd see the stars. They shimmered, endless and alive. And I realized the night wasn't empty. It was speaking. Every glimmer was a whisper, telling me that even in darkness there is something sacred, something worth painting. They called me mad, you know. They thought the fire in my mind was destruction. But they never saw what that fire created. To me, pain was not the end of beauty. It was the beginning. When I hurt, I painted. When my thoughts grew loud, I silenced them with color. I poured my soul into canvases that could speak what I never could. Yellow for hope that refused to die. Blue for sorrow that taught me tenderness. Red for passion that burned too bright to hide. Every stroke of my brush said, I am still alive. Every field, every sky, every star, they were not just art. They were evidence. You see, art is not made from perfection. It is born from struggle, from the ache of wanting to be understood, and the courage to express it anyway. I did not paint to be remembered. I painted to survive my own heart. And though the world called me lost, it was in my solitude that I found eternity. I learned that suffering is not the enemy. It is the raw material from which beauty grows. Pain reveals truth. It strips away illusion. It forces you to see what is real. You may be broken, but when you create from that place, your cracks let the light through. And maybe that's all life really asks of us. To keep painting, even when the night feels endless. To keep believing that somewhere inside the pain, there's still something worth sharing with the world. There was a time when I believed pain was punishment, a curse that followed me through life. But as the nights grew longer, I began to see it differently. Pain was not there to destroy me. It was there to teach me how to see. When you have nothing left but your own thoughts, you begin to understand the texture of silence. You learn that within the emptiness lies something infinite, the spark of creation itself. I looked at a field of wheat one evening, the sky burning orange with dying light. And for the first time, I didn't just see the world, I felt it. Every leaf, every shadow, every brush of wind carried emotion. The universe was speaking, and I was finally listening. That is when I realized, art is not created by the hand, it is born in the soul. I did not paint because I was happy. I painted because I needed to breathe.
Because color was the only language that could speak what words could not. When I painted Starry Night, I was not painting stars. I was painting the storm inside me, and how even within that storm, there was still beauty. Every stroke was a prayer, every color a heartbeat. My madness was not a curse. It was a vision that others could not yet see. People said I was obsessed, but how can one not be obsessed with truth, with beauty that hides behind the veil of suffering? Pain, to me, became a companion, one that forced me to look deeper, to notice the sacred within the ordinary. And so I learned something precious. When you give your pain a purpose, it ceases to be your enemy. It becomes your muse. Do not run from your sadness. Sit with it. Listen to what it wants to tell you. Because inside that sorrow, there is something waiting to bloom. A masterpiece only you can create. The world may not understand you. It may mock you, reject you, or forget you. But your art, your expression, will remain. Long after you are gone, your truth will speak in colors no words could ever capture. So paint your wounds, sing your grief, dance your confusion. Make the invisible visible. That is how you turn pain into art, by loving what once tried to break you.
I never tried to be a voice for anyone. I just tried to understand my own. There's a kind of pain that doesn't scream, it hums inside you. Music gave that pain a shape. It gave me a reason to keep breathing. When I picked up a guitar, I didn't care about fame or noise. I cared about truth. Even when it was ugly. Even when it hurt. Every lyric I wrote was me talking to myself. Trying to make sense of a world that never felt real. People called it rebellion, but for me it was release. There's beauty in being raw. In letting your soul be unpolished, unfiltered, imperfect. Because that's when it's real. My music wasn't about being perfect, it was about being honest. And honesty is the loudest art there is. Pain doesn't end when you express it, but it changes shape. It becomes something you can live with. Something that might help someone else feel less alone. That's what music did for me. It turned my pain into something I could hold. And somehow, that was enough. I never tried to be a voice for anyone. I just tried to understand my own. There's a kind of pain that doesn't scream. It hums quietly inside you, and you spend your whole life trying to translate it. Music was my translation. It gave the pain a shape, a sound, a reason to keep breathing. When I picked up a guitar, I didn't care about fame or attention. I cared about truth, even when it was ugly. Even when it scared people. I didn't want to write perfect songs. I wanted to write real ones. Because sometimes honesty hurts more than silence. People said I spoke for a generation, but I wasn't trying to speak for anyone. I was just trying to survive my own thoughts. The stage never made the pain disappear, but it gave it purpose. Every lyric I sang was a wound healing in real time. Every performance was me trying to make sense of the noise inside. I learned that expressing pain doesn't make it vanish, but it transforms it. It changes its shape. It becomes something you can live with. Something that might even help someone else feel less alone. Art is honesty. And honesty isn't always beautiful. It's raw, unpolished, uncomfortable. But it's real. And that's what people feel, reality. When I wrote, I wasn't looking for approval. I was looking for connection. Because when pain is shared, it becomes lighter. It becomes music. The world will always tell you to hide what hurts, but hiding it kills you slowly. Let it out. Scream it. Play it. Paint it. Write it. Whatever it takes. Because pain is energy. And energy never dies. You can let it destroy you, or you can shape it into something eternal. That's what I did with music. That's what saved me, even when I didn't know it was saving me. I never wanted to be a symbol. I never set out to be anyone's hero. All I ever wanted was to understand what was happening inside me. There's a kind of pain that doesn't scream. It hums quietly, like a ghost in your chest. And it follows you everywhere. For me, that hum became music. Every chord, every lyric was a conversation with the parts of myself I didn't know how to face. People said I was the voice of a generation, but I wasn't trying to speak for anyone. I was just trying to stay alive. Music didn't save me. It gave me a language. It gave me something louder than the pain. When you write from the wound, you're not trying to sound good, you're trying to be free. I learned that honesty is its own kind of art. It doesn't have to be clean or perfect. It just has to be real. Because people don't connect with perfection. They connect with pain that mirrors their own. When you tell the truth through art, you remind the world that it's okay to feel. They saw anger in my voice, but that anger came from love, from wanting life to mean something, from wanting people to wake up and see how fragile and beautiful this all is. Pain can trap you, or it can teach you. It taught me that expression is freedom, that it's better to scream through a song than to stay silent and let your heart die slowly. The world tells you to hide your pain, to pretend, to smile, to move on. But that's a lie. You can't heal what you don't face. You can't grow from what you won't feel. So feel it, every bit of it. Write it down. Sing it loud. Let it become something that breathes. That's how you turn pain into art. You don't escape it. you transform it. You take everything that tried to destroy you and you make it sing. And in that sound, you realize it never had power over you. You did. When I was a kid, I used to stare at the walls in my room. There was this strange kind of quiet that would swallow everything. And in that quiet, I started to feel things too deeply. Things I didn't know how to explain. Music became my only refuge. A guitar, a notebook, and a voice that wouldn't stay silent. Every lyric I wrote was a piece of my soul clawing its way out. People called my songs dark. They said I was angry, lost. But those songs weren't about destruction. They were about truth. You see, pain doesn't just sit quietly inside you. It demands to be seen. It wants to be turned into sound, into something that can live outside your body. And when I played, it was like I could finally breathe. I didn't play for fame. I played for freedom. When I wrote Smells Like Teen Spirit, I wasn't trying to define a generation. I was trying to survive one. There's something beautiful about rawness. The kind that doesn't need to be polished or perfect. Because that's real life. And real life hurts. People want to escape pain. But I think you have to face it. Feel it completely, then create with it. If you numb the pain, you numb the truth. And the truth is the seed of all great art. The reason my songs resonated isn't because they were musically complex. It's because they were honest. People can feel honesty. They can feel when you bleed into your words. It reminds them that they are not alone. That's what music is. A shared wound. A bridge between broken hearts. So I say this. Don't be afraid of your pain. Don't bury it under smiles or distractions. Pick up your guitar, your pen, your brush, and let it speak. The world needs your story. Not the polished, perfect one, the real one. Because when you express what hurts, you set it free. You take the thing that tried to drown you and teach it how to sing. And when others hear that song, they find their own strength in your truth. That's what art does. It turns isolation into connection, and suffering into something sacred. So if you're hurting, remember this. You're not broken. You're becoming. And the world needs the art you will create when you finally let that pain speak.
I have known pain, not as a moment, but as a lifetime. My body broke, my heart shattered, but I refused to be a victim of it. I picked up a brush and painted my truth. My face, my wounds, my soul. Because if I did not tell my story, who would? Each color became a scream I could live with. Each canvas, a mirror that showed me a strength hidden beneath the scars. They said I was too bold, too strange, too emotional. But pain is not quiet. It demands to be heard. And I gave it a voice. I didn't paint to please the world. I painted to set myself free. Pain taught me one thing. You can break a body, but you can never break a spirit that chooses to create. And when you turn your suffering into art, you become the author of your own healing. I have known pain, not as a moment, but as a lifetime. My body broke, my heart shattered. But I refused to be a victim of it. I picked up a brush and painted my truth, my face, my wounds, my soul. Because if I did not tell my story, who would? Each painting was not just art. It was my therapy, my rebellion, my proof that pain can be turned into beauty. They told me to hide my suffering, to smile and be silent. But pain is not quiet. It demands to be heard. And I gave it a voice. My body was broken, but my spirit refused to surrender. I found freedom in creation. I found meaning in expression. Every scar became a flower, every tear a stroke of color, every heartbreak a self-portrait of strength. I did not paint to impress. I painted to survive, to take the agony that lived inside me and turn it into something I could love. Art was my medicine. It did not heal the wound, but it made it sacred. I learned that pain does not have to destroy you. It can refine you. It can teach you who you are. You see, creation is an act of defiance. When you create in the face of pain, you are saying, "You cannot break me." You are proving that even suffering can become beautiful. I never wanted pity. I wanted purpose. And I found it in the colors of my soul. So to anyone who hurts, do not hide from your pain. Shape it. Give it form. Make it art. Because when you turn your pain into creation, you reclaim your power. And in that moment, you become infinite. Pain became my companion before I even knew what freedom was. My body broke, my heart shattered. My life became a constant test of endurance. But I refused to let pain have the last word. I picked up a brush and I painted myself, not as the world saw me, but as I truly was. I painted my wounds. I painted my strength. I painted my truth. People called my art strange, too honest, too personal. But I wasn't painting for them. I was painting to survive. Every stroke of color was an act of rebellion, a declaration that I was still here, that even in a broken body, the soul could still dance. Pain doesn't just destroy, it reveals. It strips away the illusions we cling to. and forces us to see what remains. What remains is truth, and truth is where art begins. I didn't hide my suffering. I made it sacred. I turned my tears into flowers, my scars into stories, my heartbreak into beauty. You don't need to be whole to create something powerful. You just need to be honest. Pain is a teacher. It shows you who you are when everything else falls away. Creation is my answer to pain. Because when you create, you stop being a victim of what hurt you. You become the author of it. You reclaim the narrative. And that is what I want every soul to know. You can turn your suffering into something radiant. You can take your heartbreak and make it eternal. Every time you express what hurts, you take away its control. You become stronger than the pain that once silenced you. I have loved deeply. I have lost everything. But through my art, I became infinite. And so can you. Do not hide from your pain. Create with it. Shape it. Mold it. Breathe it into life. Because one day, someone will see what you made and find their own healing in it. And that is the greatest gift you can give. To turn your suffering into light. There are days I wake up and feel every bone in my body scream. Pain has lived with me so long, it no longer feels like an intruder. It feels like an old friend, one who never lets me forget that I am alive. But I decided long ago that if I must live with pain, I would not let it silence me. When my body failed me, I painted it. When my heart broke, I painted that too. Every scar became a brush stroke, every tear a color, every heartbreak a masterpiece waiting to be born. They called me strange, emotional, too open, but what is art if not truth? And what is truth if not vulnerability? The world told me to be quiet, to hide my pain behind politeness. But I refused, because I believe pain deserves to be seen. It is not shameful. It is proof of having lived. My paintings are not of beauty as others see it. They are of truth, raw, unapologetic, honest.
I painted what it means to be human, to break, to heal, to love again anyway. You see, when you create from your suffering, you reclaim your power. You are no longer just the one who hurt. You become the one who transforms. Pain can change you, or it can set you free. The choice is yours. I learned that love and pain are twins, born of the same fire, To love deeply is to risk heartbreak, but to feel nothing is the true tragedy. So I kept painting, even when I could barely move, even when my hands shook. I painted, because it was the only way I knew to tell the world, I am still here. And you can do the same. Don't run from your suffering. Use it, shape it, turn it into something no one can ignore. If your heart breaks, let it crack open so light can escape. If your dreams fall apart, use the pieces to build something even more beautiful. That is what art is. It's the alchemy of emotion, the transformation of pain into beauty. So when the world hurts you, paint it, write it, sing it, sculpt it, turn it into something divine. Because your pain, when expressed, stops being a wound and becomes a window. And through that window, others will see hope. They will see that even through the hardest storms, the soul can still bloom. I am Frida Kahlo, and I have loved, lost, suffered, and created. And I tell you this with all my heart. You are stronger than your pain. You are more beautiful than your scars. And if you dare to create, the world will one day look at what you've made and whisper, they turn their pain into art.